Hi everyone, I'm Tally, this is Farrell, and today we're doing a review of Agent Avenue and its expansion, Division M, which was provided to us by the publisher. This is a 2-player head-to-head game, or you can play it with 3 or 4 players in a team variant. So yeah, we've had a lot of fun with this one.
Spoiler alert. So this is quite a silly game, got quite a silly premise. It is essentially that you've moved into a neighborhood and someone else has moved into a neighborhood.
Damn them.
You're both spies and you find out that, or you notice that weird spy stuff is going on or just general stuff in the neighborhood. So you start checking them out and seeing what they're up to. And the game becomes kind of a chase to be the one to unmask the other first, essentially. So we're going to get into how to play, and then we're going to tell you what we think. Agent Avenue is an exceedingly simple game to explain. So the goal of the game is to move around this track and catch up or surpass the other player. So you both start with a pawn on your home, and you're going to be playing cards that will let you move backwards or forwards on this track, and you want to try and catch up with the other player. So the way it works is on a player's turn, they will decide which 2 cards from their hand of 4 cards to play. One will be played face up and one will be played face down. Then the other player will pick one of them and you will get the one they didn't pick. Then both players will move based on the cards they chose. Now, importantly, cards will alter how much you move depending on how many of that card you have. Often, cards will change depending on the first, second, and third time you get them. For example, there is one card that will move you backwards 1 space the first time you get it, but the second time you get a copy of that card, it'll move you forward 6 spaces, and then every time after that, backwards 1 space. There's all kinds of wrinkles in here, such as there's cards where if you get 3 of them, you will instantly win the game. There's cards where if you get 3 of them, you instantly lose the game. And if you play the advanced mode, you also end up with this black market deck where there are certain spaces on the track, and if you or your opponent lands on it, you can take one of these cards from the marketplace, which might be ongoing, so you move extra every time you play a certain card, or they might be instant actions, such as kind of play a card from your hand right now. So the last thing to talk about is Division M, the new expansion for this game. And what this adds is first a whole bunch of cards to the black market deck to really kind of fill that deck out. Second is a new type of main card, the ones that you have in your hand and you're playing. These are called Division M. And the first time you play it, it will let you place a mouse pawn onto your home base. And everyone after that will let you move that mouse pawn kind of whichever direction you want, a certain number of spaces depending on how many of those cards you played. And why do you want to do this? Well, there's another way the game can end now. If your opponent lands on a space with your mouse pawn, in terms of they end their movement there, they will instantly lose the game. So this counts even if you move your mouse pawn onto their space and they didn't move that turn. So just another way to end the game, another complication. And now we'll go to what we think. As alluded to in the beginning by Tally, we think this game is pretty brilliant, to be honest.
Yes.
I think the only review you really need is that we got it out and then we played it 7 times in a row.
Did we?
Yeah,
7.
7 times. We played 2 of the base game, then 3 in the advanced version of the base game, and then another 2 with the expansion Division M. So yeah, so what do you think of Agent Avenue?
Yeah, it's just such a fun, tense little game.
Yeah.
But I think it just strikes the right balance between the tension that like a 2-player head-to-head game can give you, but in such a fun, light-hearted way.
Yeah, do you know
I would say
what I thought? I thought because when you do the, I choose, you pick type thing, every single time it's basically like a micro dose of what you get in Undaunted, where you have to bid for initiative, where you have, your better cards are higher in initiative,
Yeah.
but then those are the ones you want to play, but going first is really important. It's like micro dosing that, where you just, because it's like this little tension of like, which one are they going to pick? I'll set a trap, are they going to pick the wrong one?
Exactly that.
Yeah.
It's just the decision, and sometimes you might have to, in a way, like sacrifice your own movement in the hope that the other player will do it even worse.
Yeah.
So it's like, that decision as to what 2 cards to even try and put into the round, and then which one to put face up and which one to face down is so tense, but it's really quite funny at the same time. So I think we really had a lot of fun with this. The like psychological tactics in this is like very funny as well.
It's
just
really
like really hoping that you lull the opponent into a false sense of security, like picking the face down one because you put like a bad one up or something like this, right? It's just a lot of fun. It's not too deep. Like you said, you can play a lot of games over and over again. It's just like, okay,
very, very quick.
That's annoying. You beat me. Rack them up again, essentially.
Exactly. No, I just think it's quite brilliant. And I think it's really clever how they've done the cards, because it's this system of kind of usually the first 3 copies, but every copy you get of a card doing something slightly different. So then it kind of fleshes out what is a very, very simple decision into something more.
Yeah.
And then once you start introducing daredevils and code breakers, the ones that will win and lose you the game if you get enough of them.
Yeah.
Then there's this really like layered decision space, which I just think is really smart. You can kind of like take a knee right at the start, but then, next time you get one of those cards, you're going to move 6.
Yes.
And you get into positions. I love the way you have to maneuver to get in these positions where you make your opponent sweat, because they know that like playing this card or that card, it could end up being a win for you if they don't trick you into picking what they want you to trick. And there's nothing more glorious than getting it set so that no matter what card your opponent picks, when you give it to them, they lose.
Yeah.
It's like brilliant.
I think the cards are so perfectly crafted that's what makes the decision so tough, because they're so well balanced, even though they do different things.
Yeah.
I say some are a little bit more, will make you move a bit more, which is great. But if you push it too far and get too many of them, then you're going to lose. Whereas others are a little bit more slow build. So they're just very perfectly built. I also really enjoyed their like special powers. Of course, that adds in another layer of like complexity is a bit of a strong word for this game. It is very, very easy to pick up, but just another layer of decision, let's say. And I think the powers on them are all like super fun as well, right? Like breaking the game in a really fun way. Yeah,
I think, like we had a game where I won because of them, because I had one that was like, if you play this card, move extra. If you play this card, move extra. Then basically, I got, like I was kind of just saying, got to a point where I just gave you this choice of both cards, which on their own are not that interesting, like in terms of that one moment in gameplay.
Yeah.
But because I would get either of them, I got extra like 3 movement either way, and then caught up with you.
Yeah.
So on the surface, it looked like nice and safe move, but then there was like no way you could get out of it and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think why these are quite interesting as well.
Yeah, I think it's really quite novel. Again, is also a bit strong, but to have the board with this as well. Obviously, most games like this are card-based. I really like the addition of the board. It makes it feel a little bit more of a board game, let's say. Even though obviously it's very, very small, but just the physical thing of like chasing someone around the board, I think is what's maybe elevating this for me a little bit over like other head-to-head card-based game where you're just like slapping cards down. It adds out another level of gameplay and visual and tactility, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's just a game that produces a lot of like grinning, a lot of laughter, a lot of like flipping the board over, the tiny little board.
Yeah.
So coming on to Division M, I think it's a nice little expansion. I don't think it's like the craziest thing in the world. It's kind of, it feels like a more stuff expansion because, I mean, first of all, it kind of doubles the black market deck. So it gives you a lot of variety there, which is nice. But with the addition of the mouse pawns and the new cards, it kind of is just, again, it's like another wrinkle, another thing to think about, but it's kind of, it's not so different, right? It's not like adding a bunch in expansion. It's just, it kind of feels already baked in a sense, and it's just another thing to keep track of, another thing to worry about and consider.
Yeah.
And that sounds like I'm almost making it sound bad there, but it's such a light game that it's not really a mental burden, right?
Yeah, I think it's, again, just another funny way, let's say, that you can catch your opponent out.
Exactly.
And it does make you, it gives another perspective on some of the cards, because the decision where you're putting both out, because, of course, you want to catch the opponent in the base game.
Yeah.
But actually this time it's like, okay, I want to catch them, but I could also try to like force them to land on the mouse space. So it's just adding in another like lever that you can pull, let's say. Yeah,
it's also almost like another level of like the poker face you do, because you have to consider like, if I get one of these cards, move on to where their pawn is, right? Can they get me with it? You have to be like really careful about that. So it's quite interesting.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think there's not too much more to say about it. Obviously, we're really enamored with it. I think it's a very simple game at its core, but it just is a lot of fun. And I think massive props for getting so much out of, a tiny board and some cards, basically, as we always say.
Yeah, exactly. I can see this being one that we take on holiday with us.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So that was our review of Agent Avenue. We really appreciate you watching. We hope you found it helpful, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Bye.